Today we're going to be talking about, well, this camera. Why should you buy it? Well, my personal belief, it's a nice camera because, well, I'll show you a few things actually. This camera has a bunch of options where basically you can record in different ways. It can you know how those famous YouTubers, right? They'll put on this filter thing, and basically I'll show it to the camera, but everything in the background should turn blurry. Well, that's a setting in the camera, but you have to pay a lot of money for a camera that nice. Well, this is sort of a lot of money. I spent over $300, actually $368, I believe. You can clearly see that the screen is on, right? Well, there's a different thing. There's actually something where you pull this button that pops up, and what you do is you look through it. It's hard to get on the camera, but you can see I'm in that little hole. Then the screen turns on again. What it is, it's a little mini screen. This thing pulls back, and it's basically a magnifying glass, I think, and that's what I'm guessing. But here's some other nice options about the camera. Let's say you have a camera stand, right, and you want to make a movlog. The only problem is you can't really see where the camera's pointing at, and it disappoints you because you want to look at yourself while you're recording, so you know if you look good, so you know if it sees you, what part of the body it sees you at, because you don't want it looking at your legs or at your chest. Here's a nice thing about this camera. The screen even flips over for you. You pull the screen back, flips over again. Not only that, every camera needs a flash. Well, there's your flash. So you just take a picture. I don't know what's going to do to that camera if I take a picture. Okay, there you go. Now, there's different settings with this camera that's really nice also. Well, what do you mean? Well, it has a setting where you can take photos like a normal camera. And there's another setting where it makes sure the photo is as beautiful as it can be. Like you hear this, right? I'll take a picture of those guitars. And I'll zoom in first because you can't see it on this camera. And I actually want a nice picture of it. But let's say I want a picture of those guitars, but I want a nice one. Well, that's a normal picture. This is the good picture. Don't worry, it doesn't actually take 50 photos. It's just something that makes sure the photo is beautiful. And it just takes one photo. Anyways, let me take another picture, and yeah. So it's processing, making sure. It's probably editing it a little bit, and I'll show you what it looks like. I might show it on the screen, or I might show it on the camera. Now, here's the photo. It's not too bad. You really can't see it on the phone, but it's not really bad, and that's weird. It knows if it's sideways too. So if you like taking photos sideways, I guess you can. I never knew that. That's actually awesome. So, that's another feature of the camera that's nice. It's on the camera right now, but there's this little button that you basically go to the gallery, and what you do is you do that, and do that, and gives yourself a little calendar. Now you can set the date on this camera, and it shows you what pictures you took on Saturday, what pictures you took on Friday, what videos you took on Friday, and all that good stuff. If for some reason, if you want that, it really doesn't do me any good because I'm just going to take it off the thing. I would suggest that as a picture camera. Actually, I would suggest it over this. Now, there's a bunch of features that this one has too. It has pretty much the same features that camera does. But this costed $195, a lot less than $368. It has a little nice strap, but it doesn't have as many settings. Like on this camera, it tries to make the photos beautiful. On this camera, you have to be a professional. If you do not take good photos without editing them, this camera is no good for you. This camera has no setting for that. You have to take a good picture. If you want to take videos, this camera is no good. It makes ticky sounds, and it sucks. It just plain out sucks. On this camera, it doesn't. Now, the audio isn't my favorite, but I think it's because it hears a lot more than what my phone does. For example, actually, I'll just show you an example. I'll turn this camera on. Anyways, this is the example. You can hear the fan in the background. You can hear a bunch of things that the phone can't. But if you're doing nature and stuff like that, it is very good at that. It is very nice at that. And that's a thing I would suggest. If you're going to actually record like nature scenes and you want to have the animals chirping, you want to have the dogs barking, this is the camera for you. But for me, you hear that fan, it's not the best. Yes, you can put audio over it and make it so you can't hear it, but I don't like that. That's why I choose the phone when I'm indoors, not when I'm outside, because I actually like the birds chirping. The phone is good indoors. The camera is good outdoors. But that only figures because this camera has a lot of features for the outdoors, for pictures and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the difference. Has different picture quality. I don't know if you can notice it. I thought it was going to be a 4K. Maybe there's a setting in there and I just don't know what, because it says 4K in the box, but also says 180p. So I don't know what the difference is, or I don't know if there's a setting where you can change it. But the only thing that scared me is I looked in the box and it said this was made in China, and Sony is a Japanese company. But luckily the camera is really good and I'm not afraid now, because I have done a lot of things with it already. I took hundreds of photos. I'll actually show you one of the photos I took last night of the moon, where my phone would make the moon blurry. The camera made it look good. Now, right now I'm showing you the edited photo. I'll show you the actual photo right now. Now, the reason I edit my photos, it's because it makes it look better. Now, this photo is taken on my phone. You can clearly see that it is heavily edited. Now, here's the original. It looks extremely different. Both are beautiful, but the one that is edited looks way better. I hope I teach you things. If you have questions, comment below and ask me.